Hi guys, happy Wednesday. Sorry, when I first went to go live, it was like an error occurred. Please wait and try again. So I think we're good now though. I hope you guys are having a good week. I'm just gonna wait to see oh, there's somebody. Wonderful. Okay, just want to make sure that you can see me and that you can hear me. So today I've got my beverage of choice in my Ziggy mug. I hope that you guys have well, I shouldn't say warm cozy beverage. It is cold here. Not as cold as it's been. The snow is melting, so yay for that. But it's still fall in Cleveland. So since we don't need to see this, I am going to take us down to the desktop to look at what we're going to work on today. We're going to be working with the InStitches dies today. I have been working truly. I have been working on these. Oh, Holly, thank you. This is Jen. It's a Jen Shirkus sweatshirt. They're available for purchase. So we have the InStitches bookmarks. I'm just using the InStitches holidays for today. So we have the gingerbread, the snowflake, the ornament, the Christmas tree, and the candy cane. So let me show you a little bit of what I have kind of done. So here's what I have. I cut them and then I put them in this little envelope with my little scissors. And then I have been kind of taking them with me in my little bag of string, which I don't know if you can tell my daughter got to. So now none of the numbers are on there. It's a free for all. What color am I using? Nobody knows. It's a mystery. So I've just been taking them with me and like working on them a little bit at a time. So I'm going to show you what I have thus far. Did everyone see Frantic Stampers going out of business? They have huge sales right now. Lisa, I did not see that. Makes me sad somebody else is going out of business, but I hope it's for a good reason. So I have left my strings here. None of them are closed up completely. What do we have? We have these over here as well. The little ornament. Let me zoom in. That might make it a little bit easier to see. What else? Oh, this one I did finish, and it's because I made a mistake, and I am going to explain that, how that happened. And then I started working on this little gingerbread girl, but I didn't get it all the way completed. I started working on this one last night. Well, I was chit-chatting with my sister. So I do have another ornament that I have cut that I plan to stitch today. And then the tree. And then I have a gingerbread man. But apparently, why did I not save any of the things? I don't know. Anyhow, so I'm going to start with, so we can actually see they are very cute, and you can use them for oh yeah, Crafty Toad, she didn't think she was helping. She thought that she was having a good time, and it's fine. So I learned a lot from doing the stitching. And so I do want to share with you the things that I have learned. So we're going to start with, I'm going to recut the snowflake because Honeybee originally, when we came out with our InStitches, they were just the stitching portion. They did not have a backer piece. And people were like, can we please have a backer piece? And so that way we could make plushies out of them, which is what we are going to do today, folks. I have my, where'd I put it? My big old bag of polyfill, and we are going to turn these little guys into little plushes, which I think is really fun. But there's a couple of things that we need to know before we do the plushes. So here's the mistake that I made with the snowflake. This was the first one that I did. The snowflake has all of this detail in between here, but I had already stitched around the edge, which means if I add the stitches in here, I will make it so that I cannot stuff it, because this will basically sew this to the back, which is exactly what I did here. So I put the two pieces together, and then I was doing the little stripes, and I was like, there will be no way to stuff this, because each one of these stitches will keep me from putting the stuffing in. So we learned, I'm going to zoom you back out. We're going to cut we're not going to cut all new ones. We're going to cut just the new snowflake. I did not. So there is really good high quality felt that Honeybee carries that is from Spellbinders. I have a bunch in my stash, and so I'm going to share like a little bit about what I have. So I have, these are more like the Spellbinders quality. Okay. They're very nice. They're very firm. They have a good thickness to them. These are like quality felts. Okay. Same thing with, I got to find it. Those ain't it. These are it. With these felts here, what are these? I think these are like Benzie felts. Benzie felts, also thick. You can see the thickness. You can't see through them. They are good quality felts. Okay. And then I have my kids' felt. And I'm not saying you can't use this, because I am using this. But this felt is not very thick, and it is more prone to tearing. So I can tell you, like in one of my gingerbread men, I went to go pull the stitch, and it pulled right through. Let me see if I can find her, because I had to like doctor it up, and you'll be able to see it right here. Let me zoom in. Swoop. So this one right here, oh, good Lord, Kelly, this one right here, I pulled it, and it pulled right through the edge of the felt. So it left a hole, and then I had to kind of like blanket stitch it to get that part to seal up. So just things to know when you're choosing your level of felt. I'm not telling you to go one way or the other. I'm just telling you what your options are. So I am going to use these two purples for my snowflake because they are nice quality felt, but also because my daughter's favorite color is purple. So I am going to find the snowflake in here. Okay. And so the snow, yeah, Denise, look at you. Denise is like lining them all up there. So there is this is kind of, it shows. There's a backer piece, and then there is a front piece with the design. Now, if you want to turn these into little plushies, we have to cut two backer pieces, because if you try to put this one with this one and then stuff it, your stuffing is going to stick all out of here. So we got to have two backer pieces and one detail piece. So I think I am going to do my detail piece out of the light purple, and I am going to do my backer piece out of the dark purple. Lisa, I did not. I am not, like, I really, truly don't. Oh, I know what I was going to do, because Susan usually asks. Where's Susan at? Is she even in here? I was going to share my cross stitch, because she usually asks how far along I am. So this is where we're at on our stocking. I gotta get my hustle on to, there's a dog hair on it, to turn it into my stocking. So this is the toe of the stocking, and then it'll come up like this. So I'm almost done. This part is all done, obviously, except for the back stitching. And then we're almost to the tippy top, where we'll do his name and stuff. So, and you can see this little green mark here is where my daughter decided to make her contribution to my cross stitch. Yeah. So it'll get washed, right? So I made sure I was like, bring it up, because Susan usually asks where you're at. So now for these, I am going to trim them. Oh, I don't know who that is. We're ringing, and normally I'm on vibrate, so I don't even know. Now I'm going to change it to vibrate, so nobody's calling me. All right. Hello, Dawn. So I'm going to trim these. I'm using my Spellbinder shears for these. You guys have probably heard me talk about them before. I adore these. These are good scissors. When even when your non-crafty scissor uses, like my non-crafty sister uses your scissors, and she's like, ooh, these are nice scissors. Like, they're nice. And then for this one, I'm going to use this just as a placeholder to see if I can get both of them on this piece, and I can. So I'm just going to cut straight across here. Okay. Now we do have to get the die cutting. So I'm going to do that. Normally I would bring it up here and all that stuff, but I kind of have like my bag of stuff. So I'm going to do it on the floor real quick. I'm going to cut both of them. All right. Okay. I do want to share. I have been working on this. It's still potato chippy, but I have flipped it to be my bottom plate. Just so we're aware. All right. So we decided the detail layer is the light pink, and okay, I need to flip that. There we go. Oh, I'm missing a layer. There's no pressure. Oh, Lord. All right. There we go. Now, let me double check that everybody's still on the felt, because I ran into that problem the last time. And everybody is. All right. Now. Okay. That's that one. And that one. And now. Ooh. I almost feel like I should tape that, because I think my other one moved. Am I going to get it? It's going to be close. Okay, I have to tape this one. Normally I would not tape my felt, but in my other one moved and I'm like barely going to make it. And I don't want it to scoot off. Okay. There we go. Okay. So this is the one I had to tape because see, look, I just had like this little teeny tiny connector piece, but that's all right. We got it done. So now we have our two backer pieces and our detail piece. I don't spend, I think we talked about this before, I don't spend any time popping the holes out because they pop out as I stitch. So I'm not overly concerned about that. But I will take out these larger pieces. There we go. So the stitching guide will show you, like the layering guide will show you a different kind of way. Let me see. I probably still have it in the assets. Let me see if I can pop it up there on the screen real quick for you guys to see what I'm talking about. That's the bookmark one here. Yeah, here. Okay. So it shows you all different kind of ways that you can do the stitching. Or you can make up your own. Like you don't have, like when I did the ornament here, you can see that like the top piece has a bunch of stitching. I didn't do that with my ornament. I'm going to bring them over here so you can see. Like I didn't do any of that here. I just stitched it around. So it really depends on like what kind of look that you are going for, and what's going to work for you. So just keep that in mind. If you're like, I'm not really sure what the design should be. You can look at the guide, but if you are like, I don't care, I want to do my own thing, also totally fine. So let's talk about the steps in which we have to do and how I messed this up the first time. Where's our other one? So I forgot all of these little things because I just started stitching everything together. You want to do these detail parts. This is, again, if you're stuffing it. Okay. This is if you are stuffing it. If you're not stuffing it, you can do whatever you want. So we put these together and then we want to do all of our detail stitching before we put the backer on. So I'm going to just line like this one that is a completed piece. And you can see there's no like tape or knots or anything on the back. So I'm going to show you how I hide my string as well. So that way you could just have one, completed piece. So, all right. So now let me find my needle. It's in my tree. Okay. I also do have here, I have my needle, but I also do have spares in my little magnetic box. And in fact, I'm gonna go to your home. Thank you. Okay. And then I'm gonna pick out, I'm actually gonna use this lighter purple here. I do have a dark, maybe I'll use the darker purple. I do have a darker purple. Let me look at both of them. Let me just pull out the gigantic mass that is in here. So maybe I will use the darker purple if I can even locate it. Maybe not. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Did she run off with one of my schemes? Maybe she did. All right, well, I think we're using this one. I think the darker purple would look better, though. Do I have? All right, hold on. Hold on one second, because you know I have a drawer of stuff. I just have extras in a baggie, and I find that easiest to carry around. But I most assuredly have the color that I am looking for. In a different baggie. Oh, Lord. This stuff is very old. Not exactly dark enough. Let's look. There's a receipt in here. Let's look and see when it's from. Oh, it doesn't say. I would have been interested to know. There's also some half-stitch cards in here. I must have felt some kind of way about it and thought that I could do it. Oh, this one is like that silky thread. It's a nightmare to work with. I think we're going to go with just that darker purple right there. And I think that'll work. Okay. All right. So now I usually do, like, see how they're folded? I usually do 1, 2, 3 sections, but that's because I get frustrated with running out of string. So, and then because these holes are bigger, I do like a thicker thread. So there are 6 strings in our floss. So I pull them out by 3s. And I usually, this is like a cross-stitching thing. It's probably not even necessary for cards, but I always flip one back the other way so that it stays nice and fluffy. Okay. There we go. So then we have 3, and then we have this other 3. There, Hockey, there is metallic thread, but it is a pain in the butt to deal with, big time. Okay. And then we're going to feed that through. Okay, so now we're ready to start. I'm going to zoom us in. Oh, I'm caught. Go lay down, Molly. Okay, so I'm just going to pick an edge. You know what? I'm going to start with the inside first. I'm going to start with the inside design first. All right, and then I'm going to let this length here kind of fall down the back of it. And then as I stitch, so I'm going to come up here, go down here. This is just a regular back stitch. And then I'm going to come up in this next hole. But on the back side here, I'm going to make sure that I have crossed over this string. So that way when I pull it through, it secures that string to the back. And then I'll go back. And then again, I'm going to come up the next hole. I'm going to make sure that I am stitching back over that string. So that way it is securing. See now here, if I just stitched, it's not securing anything because we're on the opposite side of the string. So if that happens, you just want to move your string that you're trying to secure to underneath. Now it wants to stick to itself. Okay, there we go. And now, so that way when I come back up here in this next hole, it will work to secure that string as well. And then we'll just work our way down to here. And then we have that one line completed. So then we can just move over to the next one. Now, this is going to be tucked inside, so I'm not overly worried about this tail. But if it was on the outside, you could just trim it. In fact, I can just trim it because it's not going to go anywhere, so it doesn't matter. So this is, so you could just trim it off down here. And because it's secured all through those stitches, it's not going to go anywhere. And then it has a nice, neat appearance. So those of you are like, how did you know how to do this? This is very reminiscent of cross stitching. So I don't have any strings or knots or anything. I secure all of my cross stitching with my stitches so that the back is nice as well. So then we're just going to go through. We'll go to the next one. And here we don't have to be as aware because we're not securing any, like the tails. It's just really the beginning and the end. But I do try to make sure that my felt stays lined up as I'm going, because we are eventually going to have to sew it shut. Desert Lisa, no snark mat. Whatever you said, I didn't take as snarky because I don't know what it was. Oh. All right. So in the honeybee guideline, I think it actually shows, like in the layering guide, I think it shows there being like a Y from like this one that comes down to here. And then again on the other side, which is kind of fun. So maybe we'll throw those in there. I got to find my, sometimes I got to go in and rough it up with my fingernail so I can find it. But even then doesn't mean we're going to be able to get it through the back. There we go. Okay. And again, just want to make sure your felt is lined up. There we go. And then that creates a little, yeah, and then you'll stitch around the edge. That'll be cute. That's fine. Oh, thank you, Mary. So we used the bookmark ones last week to create actual, that's not the right one. All right, so now we've have a wrong stitch. So how do we fix that? So you can try to go back up the same hole that you just came in and see if you can pull it out. But see, that doesn't always work because sometimes you catch other strings. So typically I will just remove my needle and then I will pull it out this way and then gently tug on the strings, because remember, we don't want to rip those holes. And then I just rethread my needle. My sister, my oldest sister, also stitches, and she is a little bit older than me. And so she has been having, well, even I think we joked about that before. I've been having some issues with seeing the holes when I'm cross stitching. These ones, not so much. They're pretty large. But they do have little lights that you can get, which I have found to be very, very helpful. Like they just clamp on. So do you guys find yourself stitching like the felts or stitching the papers, or you're like, I just like the patterns that they give you and I don't want it, like how Hockey said she doesn't stitch, so she just fakes it with a white gel pen, which by the way I think is brilliant. This way and then this way. Paper for Kathy. Not sure if I should try to add color to my die cuts with markers like you do. Kat, try it. It's just paper. You may find that you really enjoy that. Lisa stitches on cardstock, and Tina, now that I know that that's your name, when I'm not just calling you Nana anymore, no stitching for her. Lori needs a headlamp too. I think we're all going to get there at some point. I like both, but I have been drawn to paper because they're so delicate. Brandon, yeah. Somebody has not tried it. Stitching on felt. I haven't before, but I think I have to try now. Caitlin, you can do it. Okay. And then we're back up to here. And then just double checking. Remember our edges. And creating that little Y at the bottom. And then we'll move on to the next one. I think this does go by pretty fast, like the stitching aspect of it. Everybody's like, oh, you always have to be so patient. But I think it goes by pretty quickly. What do you guys think? Yeah, I agree with Denise. We do all need the light sooner or later. Brandon, maybe that's why I think it's so quick. Because like I'm used to cross stitching and like having to count the things and pay attention to the pattern. So maybe that's why I feel like it's so fast. That's a good point. I didn't think about that. So just like you can see these little guys are like popping out of here. I don't worry about it too much while I'm stitching, but you can just pluck off them, and then we're all the way almost back to the beginning. I can't believe I almost had enough string to go all the way back to the beginning. I mean, we won't make it all the way back because Murphy's Law, but we're going to be close. And then we'll talk about how we secure our tail at the end. There we go. Oh, your husband put new lighting in? Yeah, I really need new lighting. But I have plans to change my craft room so that I have an island desk instead of a, right now I have an L desk in the corner. All right. So that could work, but it's not going to give me enough string to secure it. So, all right, you can do one of two things to secure your string at the end. You can either leave it like a little tail, and then when you start your next round of string, you would stitch over it along with the start of your thing, or you can, let me get my needle back threaded. Don't be like that. Okay. Nope, I missed one. See that one sad little guy? Okay. Smooth those little guys out and try again. I have that one. There we go. Okay, so now I'm going to just feed them back through my previous stitches, which I do find to be the easier and faster way to secure them. So then I'll just feed them back through like that. It'll give me just a little bit of a tail on this end. I usually do like 3 to 4 just to make sure that it's not going to slide out. And then now, see, we still have to finish these two. These ones are all done, but we have to finish up these two. It's fun to add beads to these stitching pieces too. Oh, that is fun. I was never a beader, so that would never even occur to me. Okay. So now I'm going to leave my tail. This is a little bit complicated because the stitches that we have are just big stitches. So stitching over it is very challenging. So we'll see what we can do here. You can also, yeah, because we're going to come over here. Right, this one. So let's see how this is going to lay. There we go. We did get it over it, but I don't know how secure that's going to be, fortunately. All right, so now that's the whole inside design is done. And now we need to put the backer piece on. So now we will line it up. So this piece, we need to kind of feed through a hole here to get it out on the other side. So now we have 3 layers of felt. There we go. And then we'll just look through the back here, and we want to make sure that we're feeding through all of those holes. And again, this is just going to be a basic back stitch. My string here is a little bit tangled, so see, I can't pull it to move my tail along. So we need to untangle that tail piece to pull it out to be a little bit smoother. And then we will just go around the edges. You can also, this is a basic back stitch. You can also do, which I'll show you here. Okay. You can also do what is called a blanket stitch, which is where you, hold on, my little guys are not lined up. There we go. Where you wrap it around the back. And then your stitch is on the outside edge. And then you would just continue on, and it would wrap around the outside edge. Does that make sense? Oh, Lisa, it doesn't sound gross. That's how I thread my needle every time. Yeah, I absolutely lick my string. So it is a lot faster, Lori. The blanket stitch is a lot faster. It does leave an opening though. Like right here, it leaves an opening. Whereas with this one, because it's stitched all together, there is no opening. So does that matter as much? I don't know. Oh, the okay, hold on. I don't know how to say the name. Girlless cards. Tell me how I'm supposed to say your name. We are going to put batting in them. We're going to make them stuffies. So then to remove this stitch, you would just do the same thing that you did before. Take out your needle and then just very gently, because we don't want to rip through anything. There we go. And there we go. So there are definitely 2 different looks. The blanket stitch is faster. I just prefer the look of the back stitch. Stuffies is what my daughter calls them, Denise. Her stuffed animals are her stuffies. All right. So actually in the layering guide, Honeybee doesn't show a back stitch or a blanket stitch. It shows more of like a design stitch. So here in these ones, there is a stitch here like this that comes down. And they do like a little bit of a fancier thing with that. Brandon likes the blanket stitch more than he likes the back stitch. I would be curious to know, Brandon, what you started out as. Nope, that's not right. Like, I wonder if what you started out as has an effect on what you would prefer. There we go. Okay. So then I'm going to bring this down. I think I'm going to bring it down to meet the Y. What am I going to do on this side? Yeah, I'll do that. This, I'll have to figure out this when I get back to it. But I think I'm going to bring it down to meet the Y. I started with cross stitch, but I think the blanket stitch is just prettier. Oh, okay. Well, I also started with cross stitch, and I prefer the I prefer the back stitch. I did try, which I did not succeed at, by the way. I did try to do a French knot on my gingerbread people, like when I was securing their little accessories. I tried to do a French knot on there for their little eyeballs and stuff. That was a no-go. My felt was too fragile for a French knot. It did not like it. All right, so how do we feel about that? Because that kind of makes a little... I don't love that. All right, so now we're back to not including those because I don't love it. See, this is why it's important to try things. And before you're like, girl, how you just going to go back in and pull out all them stitches? I am the person who, when I am doing like a counted pattern cross stitch, I will take it out 5 times if it ain't right. If it ain't right, I will redo it. Everybody's different. I don't fault you. My best friend was once doing a cross stitch for her mom. Her mom loved hummingbirds. So she was like, oh, I'm going to make her hummingbird cross stitch. And it was one of those like Dimensions gold collections. So like it was not messing around. And you can see my string kind of got stuck here. So now I got to smooth this out because if I just keep trying to pull it, it's going to be very yucky. It's not going to be good. And the problem is that I've left one of my strings behind down here. There we go. Now let's get these two back on track together. Hey, hey, hey. Join your family. Anyway, she did her little hummingbird cross stitch and she missed a part. Like she missed a stitch. And I was like, girl, you got to go back and take that out so you can redo it. And she was like, nope, I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to make it up. And I was like, how are you just going to make up a whole corner of this picture? But to her, that seemed easier than going back in and taking it all out. To me, I'll just go back in and take it out. Like, I'm fine with that. Oh, I have to keep pulling. It wasn't time to rethread. I had one. Don't be like that. I have one more to pull out. Is it this one back here? Yep. And then I do have to do this one because now I don't want them to connect because I don't like that now. All right. So now how am I going to do it? Trial and error. All right, so we're just going to leave these there and then we'll cut across and we'll leave the Y out. So we'll cut across like we did there. Okay. I was on the last section of a cross stitch, messed it up and said, oh, well, made it work with some added stitches to balance it out. Yeah, see, good for you, Brandon. I'm not, that ain't me. That is not me. Okay. My mom cross-stitched for many, many years. She's now learning to finger knit at 84 years old. It's never too late to pick up a new skill. Holly, I love that. Good for your mama. Okay, so now we're not connecting them. We're not connecting the tops of those. We're just going to continue around the edge. And I do think I will like that better. I'm going to get through all the holes. There we go. Plus, a back stitch is a stronger stitch than a blanket stitch. So like I am going to give my little plushies to my child to play with. And that little tornado will absolutely demolish them. Okay, make sure we're lined up because I'm having a hard time feeling it going through. So here I can tell it needs to be pulled up a little. There we go. And then where is the, there it is. Okay. Pull that little fuzzy out. And then we do still need to come down and connect this, like on these bigger ones, we need to come down and grab this larger hole here because otherwise we're just going to have like an empty spot and it will look strange. And then we just keep going. So I can keep going with this one, or we can move on to the stuffing of the other ones. What do you guys think? No, we're not going to do that. We're going to do this over here. Oh, we're getting cattywampus. Oh, doesn't like that. Okay. Carrie's the only one who answered, and she said move on. So I am going to go with that. As soon as I okay, as soon as I get to a good stopping point. Here we go. I'm hearing the humming again. Yeah, it's actually the mic's in the same spot. I think the computer's just doing more work today. Okay, so I'm going to leave these here. I will, when I do the edited video, I will show it. All right, so now we have this one that does not have the detail in the middle, but that's okay. We're still going to stuff it. All right. Let me get my needle back from this one over here because I will need it to close it up. Okay. Nope. That one little guy got away. Why you gotta be like that? All right. If you have some that are uneven and like they're giving you a hard way to go, you can just trim off that little bit to make them all the same length. And then that usually makes threading them a bit easier. Dropped it. Why? Oh my gosh. Thank you. Finally. All right. So we've stitched all the way around with our back stitch and we've left this opening. Okay. This opening is what we're going to put all of our stuffing into. Where's my, there it is. It's over there. I gotta get a sippy. Okay. I have mine just tied. I just gotta get the knot out. Okay. Alrighty. So I have, I'm just gonna pull out a little bit. You know, these aren't very big. And then I'm gonna stuff it in. Now, you can use your finger. It does help if you have like a little tool, especially for the longer ones. Like if you wanted to, I grabbed something, but where did I put it? That's that. I gotta find the other thing because it actually belongs to one of my daughter's toys. But anywho, so like if you wanted to like stuff the candy cane, like you're gonna need something that will fit down into there. You could probably use like a pencil, or if you were worried about getting marks on your thing, you could use maybe like your die release tool. So something longer, you would want something to kind of pack it in there. Now you don't want it to be too packed so that you can't do your stitching. So I'm happy with kind of what's in here. It's giving me a nice little pillowy top there. I'm going to move this. And then we just go in. Let me figure out where we're at here. Then we'll just go in and finish sewing her up. And again, I know Brandon has left, but he is right. The blanket stitch does take less time. And you do want to make sure you're pinching. I gotta look and see. I think there's another one down here. Yep, there sure is. You do want to make sure you're pinching it closed. So that way you're able to get your stitches in the right place. So like that one's just a little far to the right. There we go. And I do like to look through the back to just make sure everything is lining up as it is supposed to. I'm missing the hole on the front piece. There we go. Almost done. I love how you guys are all talking about Thanksgiving food. Okay. So this is one of those ones. See how I have a little tail here? So I did not secure it beforehand. So there is our little plush. You can kind of move the, see, like over here I flattened it quite a bit to make it easier to stitch, but you can kind of like move it into place so that it's all nice and pillowy. And then to secure these, again, we can feed them kind of back through our stitches to hold them in place. Or you can make yourself a knot out of the string. I'm going to hold this out of the way. So you make a loop here, so of the same string, and then feed it through, hang on to this loop, because this loop is going to create your knot, and then you slide it. Sorry, it's hard to hold it still. You slide the knot. I have to make it a little bit bigger because it keeps moving around, so it's tightening before it's time. All right, so then maybe this method won't work for this. Okay, now I got it looped around my finger. That should help. All right, so we slide it down and then hold that part with our thumb and then pull the loop, and it'll tie a knot right at the base. Alternatively, because we do have two loops, we could also, or two tails, I'm sorry, we could also tie these together. And because we're not using like enormous amounts of string, we can tie them sorry, I got to get it because it's 3. It doesn't want to stay together. I got to lick it. There we go. So I obviously would double knot it. That is what I am trying to do to make sure that it's going to stay secure. If I had left a longer tail here, this would not be as challenging. But I didn't. I'm going to see if I can, instead of pulling it through by the back, I'm going to see if I can get it through. There we go, by the front. So then we would just pull that down, and now that's double knotted, and we should be able to just trim off the extra. It is a little bit bigger than the other way of doing it, but not too terrible. And then that is one little snowflake plushie. So I'm going to do this other one here. that is already stitched. And so again, all of the detail stitching was done. Oh, look at, there's a petal. All of the detail stitching was done before we put them together. There, because I've stitched across here, this will remain flat. The stuffing will only be down here. So we'll take a little bit more of our polyfill. I like to kind of ball it up. And then kind of start working it in there. I'm going to push it down as far as it'll go. And then depending upon how much fill you put in will also decide how firm they are. Like if you really pack in the filling, there it will be very, very firm. Okay, so I'm pushed it down this way and then I'm pushing it up this way. Okay. And I think I can get just a little bit more in there. And then there we go. And then I'll be able to push it back out. Okay. So this one I just did with the white. For the outside like edges, which I think neutrals are really great for that. But I did stitch the petals on with a little bit of a lighter blue. I'm going to have to trim it because you're driving me crazy. They do have needle threaders. My sister uses one. I just don't own one. Okay. Oh, these would be really cute, like to add to, Lisa was just talking about like how she loves a good gift tag. These would be cute to attach to your gifts. That would be really fun. They would have like a little ornament that they could hang. Or a little snowflake or, you know, whatever. Come on. There we go. And again, just remember to try and make sure you're getting those holes, because especially like as it expands out, it does make it more challenging to make sure that we're getting in the right spots. See how like when I pushed it through there, it wanted to go like to the side. So I got to make sure that I bring it back around so that it's in the actual hole that it is supposed to be in. And also when you're like smushing things together, sometimes they don't line up correctly. So just something else. I got to pull this petal a little bit out of the way for myself. Okay. There we go. Kelly does not know that she knows me from my previous crafty life yet. Oh, I do? Do I know you? Tell me. Tell me who you are. Oh, see, look at right there. And I'm telling you guys. I'm trying to think. Oh, you changed your name. Well, you are right. I did not know. We're just getting to the last few stitches. Oh, get out of here. There we go. And then we are done. There we go. Okay. So now we don't have, I do have some green on there, but now this one we don't have two tails on. So in order to secure it, here you can see this is where I originally secured my first tail. In order to secure it, again, we can either feed it back through, or we can do the slide knot. I'll try that again. That's normally how I do things, is with the slide knot, but it is a little bit challenging when they won't stay still. It keeps wanting to be smaller than I need it to be before I can get it down. To where it needs to sit. There we go. Nope. It slid right out of my finger. Ay, ay, ay. Let's try it again. What did we end up doing last time? Did I end up feeding it back through with? No, I didn't. All right, there. I'm going to hold it that way and then pull it through. There we go. And since the holes are a little big, I'm going to do it again. You can thread it through the seam, then knot it to hide the knot a little better. Yeah, this is normally like my go-to, but I'm struggling a little bit with it kind of like flopping all over. All right, there we go. So now I have my double knot there, and I can just trim it. And then we have two plushies. I'm not a cat person, but I almost wonder if you could put like catnip in these and give them. Don't they look like little cat toys? The felt might not be safe for them. I'm not sure. Don't take that as gospel. So those are cute. So this is one that's just not stuffed. This is just stitched out of felt. Here, this one. Oh, someone mentioned it earlier and I just missed it. So this one, I stitched it all up except for this one. And this is one of the ones where, like, if we wanted to stuff it, we would have to like use the utensil. What did I do with that? Let's try using our, I brought a thing up to do it. It's a pokey thing, but it's a hard plastic pokey thing. Let's see if we can use our die release tool to do it. But this is another one, like where I made a boo-boo. I should have put my berries on beforehand. So I will probably, maybe I can just put them on now. Can I? No, let me stuff it first, and then I'll see if I can put them on. Because it goes like that. All right, I use chapstick to do this. Chapstick to do what, Tina? Tell me. What are we using chapstick for? All right, let's see if we can stuff this with this. I don't crochet, but you are correct. That would absolutely work. All right, then I feel like this is too big. All right, so here is my opening. And I'm going to try to see if I can get this in there. I might have needed to leave like a little opening on every one of the leaves instead of trying to do it like I did the other ones. Well, it's a struggle to even get it in there, but we're working it. Okay. Maybe this way, maybe this side. I remember somebody, nope, that ain't it. I remember somebody at a craft retreat I was at once, they did like the felting with the needling, like where they just stabbed it a bunch and turned it, somehow it was like miraculously a cat, or a giraffe or a panda. I don't know. I didn't understand how they did it then. I don't, but that's what that reminded me of. All right, so this has to go, maybe if I use the flat side. Oh, I got it. I got the tool in there, but I didn't get any of the stuffing in there. Tweezers. I'm down to try that. I have a pair. I feel like I'm just going to stick. Yeah. Nope. Okay. So there has to be a different way to stuff this than what we're used to doing. Maybe if I left this open, I could stuff them individually. So good things to know and to learn. I feel like I have another, where did I do with it? I have another, but I think this one was sewn all the way across. Yeah, see, this one was sewn with a blanket stitch, and it was sewn all the way around. So I can't try it with this one. But good to know. I'll have to work on that and figure out how. I do think maybe if I left, let me just try stuffing this leaf. Probably too much for this one little leaf. But I do think that would work. If we could just get it. Maybe I gave up too soon. Maybe now that I got it in there, I can move it around. It does seem to be going in. So use a skewer and start with the farthest one. So I am starting with the farthest one, which is this one over here. Ow. Okay, don't use that part. Don't use that part. I did bring up, I'm wondering, I'm going to use the back of this paintbrush, if that would be more skewer-like. It's just like pushing right through it. It's not actually moving it. Or maybe it is and I'm being impatient. Looks a little too tight, maybe too much at one time. That absolutely could be the case. But it's like I can't get it through that little... I'm going to go back to this. Because I felt like I was making better progress with being able to like push it with the flat side. Or scoop it. Wiggle, wiggle. So I am going to say, because here, like the stuffing's to here. So I do think it is possible. I do not think it is for people like me who are very impatient. So, but look, we are getting there. We are getting there. It's just taking there. See, now that whole thing is in that leaf. So we did get it. It just took a lot more effort than I would be willing to put in. Oh, Lord. Okay. Lisa, I missed your reference, but I'm probably old enough to get it. All right, so now I'm gonna try to kind of ball it up again. See, this is my toxic trait. I can't walk away from something. Even when I like, okay, this is taking way too long. You need to just move on. I can't. I cannot. My head is like, you're in the middle of something. Finish it. It sounded very Mortal Kombat, but you get what I'm saying. All right, so smushing, 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 smushing. And then this time, we're going to the right. Which is a little bit different of an angle. So we'll see if we can get it done. Oh, well, that was rude. Let's try it again. So I do think there's easier ways to do it than what I am doing. All right, I'm going to walk away because I know me and I can't just leave it well enough alone. I will mess with it when I am not taking up all of your times. Okay, so those are those ones. What else was I going to show you? The holly, these ones are stuffed. These ones are not stuffed. This is the one that we started from scratch. We have the little gingerbread people, which I do think will be very easy to stuff. But again, you have to do all of the detail work before you put them together. So you definitely can use these to make like a little banner. I think that would be super cute. I think it would probably be easiest to do with like the ornaments because it already has that loop on there. You could create a loop on some, like on the snowflakes, you could create like a little stitch loop, and, you know, hang them up. That would be really, really cute as well. These ones, maybe you could create a loop, like with the bow, and then the other one has, this is just the base, but it also has like a little Santa hat. And you could probably create like a little loop right there with them. So I do think a garland would be very cute. Also, felt sticks to felt. So, you know, if you, oh, see, now it's going to make a liar out of me, but it sticks to itself. So there's some other things that you can do with that as well. But anywho, so I will show more of them in the edited replay once I have a little bit more time to like play around with things like this. But since we've already been here for an hour and a half, I am going to, I'm going to pick a winner. So let me bring myself back up. Hello. Oh, look at that bang. Oh, just go back. I made a shaker with tiny gingerbread people yesterday. That's so fun. All right. So let's go. We're just going to scroll randomly back into wherever we're going. And our winner is Holly. Holly Mahoney. You are the winner of our $25 gift card. Please send an email to Betsy at customer care at honeybeestamps.com. I hope she's still in here. I'm scrolling. I went back pretty far, so I got to get all the way back down to the back down. Okay, there we go. Oh, yep, there she is. Well, congratulations, Holly. Send your email to Betsy at customercare at honeybeestamps.com and let her know that you were the winner of today's live, and she will hook you up. Don't forget, we will have more details coming soon about the holiday tag series that we will be doing on the first week of December. And no, what are we doing? Yeah, we're doing that's the free class that we're doing is the holiday. No, is it? Yes, it is. We talked about this. Why my memory is not what it used to be. So anywho, so we will have that coming up, and then I will see you guys on Monday for the premiere. I am going to try to do another video this week. Somebody had mentioned in the honeybee group that they were having a hard time putting the nativity scene together, and I'm super excited to use that. So I will try to put that together for maybe a video for this upcoming weekend. So yeah, so thank you guys so much for joining me. I always appreciate your time, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.